Enlightened World Network. We're here for a meditation a day with Eileen Murray. She comes to us from Canada, and she is masterful when it comes to the new Akashic Records. I can't wait for you to meet her. Eileen, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Ruth. Hello, everyone.
You can just get started, Eileen. Thank you.
Okay, what we're going to explore this morning in North America, West Coast time, is our divinity and how we relate to our divinity, especially when we're encountering limitations in health and in beliefs and so on. And to start off with, I want to share that in our humanness, we were born into duality. And this is, I feel, really important to grasp in the understanding that we identify with ourselves as I am and fill in the blank. I am a nurse, I am a teacher. And we think that's who we are. And I have a problem and I have an illness. And who is the I that has it? Well, it's the form, our body, that has it. And our true identity is our essence, is our soul, is our spirit, is life. And that doesn't have any illness or any limitation. And we can often get into subtle judgments about how we're viewing this. What I have found very helpful is to understand the difference between what's in the collective psyche, what I was born into, which we were all born into in the human story, with all this conditioned mind beliefs that are everywhere. And what we're doing here is learning how to pull our energy out of those beliefs in the realization of who we really are, that our true essence is eternal. And as that, we're still here in form, but we're in a new program. It's like the program of Windows 8 is a different program than the Windows 7. And Windows 7 doesn't have the capacity to understand Windows 8. It's not within that program. And so it's not within our dualistic. We can get snippets of it, but the mind, the human mind only knows what it knows. And it can be trying to improve and make it better or get to. And then we can realize there's nothing to get to. It's already here as our fullness and our essence. And we can be in relationship to the limitation while realizing who we really are. And so all of the limitations are programs and beliefs that are in the collective psyche that we've been born into. And in this time, we're often in limitations. There's a lot of illness happening. But what would happen if we're realizing that everything that is happening in our life is a pointer to the realization of our divine nature, of the fullness of who we are? Even though we may be experiencing illness or limitation financially or in whatever way, those are only the effects. They're not the essence of who we are. And so that's what we're going to focus on. And often we have experiences in life that we can just dismiss. I want to share an example of something that happened to me yesterday. I was out walking with my daughter, and we were in a town, Kelowna, walking along a sidewalk where it was a busy street, a 4-lane street. And we were almost at an intersection, which was another very, very busy street. And there was a turnoff onto this one street called Gordon, which was 4-lane. And all of a sudden, my daughter heard someone yell, and she turned around, and across the road on the other of the 4 lanes was a dog, a small dog, and it started to run across the road. And all these cars were coming. And we just stepped out and said, we just put our hands up and said, stop, stop. Like, and there became a gap in the road where this dog ran across, and we just crouched down, and he didn't know what to do. So he just turned around, started to run back across the 4 lanes, and the owner was yelling at him. And it happened so fast. Afterwards, I thought my stomach was up in my heart. And this morning, upon reflection, I was shown there was a miracle that happened, that there became a gap so that that dog wasn't hurt. And I thought, you know, the principle of it was that there's an all goodness. I believe in this principle of the divine, that there's an all goodness. And that principle got activated, not even consciously by me. It just, in that no, we holding our hands out to the cars, there became a gap so that the dog could run safely back to its owner. And like I said, the realization came later was that was a miracle. But the mirror behind the miracle is the principle of there's this all goodness that is everywhere. And it's happening in our lives. And often we don't see that. And something like that could happen to us in different ways. And we can dismiss it just by saying, well, that was just luck. It's not luck. And that's where we become empowered to realize there's that divinity in action. So I wanted to share that with you today because it became a deeper insight to me of really what was going on. And sometimes people will say, well, you created that. No, I didn't create it. It was the belief in the all goodness that became active. And that's really what's important. And that principle can be applied to anything in life, in our life. You can find your own words, but for me, it's that all goodness. And we called upon it. And it was already active. We just called upon it in that way of stop. And so I wanted to share that because that's becoming a profound experience. And I see that with people, these great things happening in life, and we can dismiss them. And we're lessening our relationship to who we really are and what's really going on a bigger level in life that can be brought into a limited program of, oh, that was just luck, or I created that. No, I didn't create it. The principle was active. I believed in the principle. I believed in that all goodness. So with that, I invite you to close your eyes and think of something that feels in limitation in your life. And what if we explore this from the consciousness that that's all a part of a program and a series of programs and beliefs of the dualistic mindset, our limitation, our human story that has layers of consciousness within the one life, infinite consciousness that we truly are. Just think of something that's happening in your life, maybe in relationship to health, or in a relationship or work, or what's happening in the world, where we have a judgment about it. We want it to be different. We think this shouldn't be happening, or I don't like it. And see how that feels in your body and around your body. And then who is it that can observe that happen? There's an invisible presence that you are that is observing that. when we bring awareness to it. If we don't bring awareness to it, then we're just in reaction to it. It has us, it's running the show. But when we can see, okay, look at what I see that I became reactive. And who is it that's becoming reactive or witnessing the reaction? So what's happening is, if there's a reaction, we're reacting to some part of ourself, that program. It became a trigger for us. And that feels very limiting. So what happens now if we bring and become aware of our light, our essence, the divine, that's infinite? Whatever word is best for you that gets you in touch with that light, that essence, that life that flows through you and as you, that becomes present to that situation. It is there. And breathe and watch what happens as you stay simply as the identity of that life, as presence, as spirit, as light. Stay as that. And allow that light, that presence, to do what it knows what to do, that greater intelligence that we are. But we're staying as the identity, as the light, and resting our awareness as the light and allowing it to do what it needs to do in relationship to the situation. And breathe and notice what happens through you and around you. And what happens then in relationship to some other situation in life? Something happening in the world, and we go into a belief to see that, well, that will never change, or this is what we've got to do, or this means that if this is happening, that's going to happen. We've dropped out of that light back into the conditioned mind and beliefs. And we simply welcome that. We're not beating ourselves up about it. We're not saying it's wrong. We're realizing where it is located and what's going on. We could stay even with the sense that I don't like that. I hate that. So we're acknowledging what we're feeling. We're acknowledging what we believe. And we're aware of where that is in our consciousness. It's in the limitation self. And then what happens if we bring that light right there to that situation? It's there anyway. We're acknowledging our presence, our divinity as that light in relationship to what's happening and what we like or don't like. And then let's ask that light that we are to show us if there's anything we need to become aware of in relationship to that situation. Because that part of our light, that light of us, already knows it's the greater intelligence, the greater divine mind that already knows. And that part of us is informing the rest of us now. And it is doing so with ease and grace. The mind, the body, and spirit are receiving that transmission of information and light awareness now. And that is complete. So what we're aware of is becoming aware of when we are thinking or believing anything that is limited and realizing where it is coming from. It is coming from our conditioning. It's coming from the world mind that says this is true. And this will happen if we do this, and this won't happen if we don't do that. Those are all beliefs. And we're grateful that we're becoming aware of those limited beliefs. And we're becoming aware of what we really are. That our true nature is eternal, our essence. And the more we rest in that essence, the more it flows through us into different experiences that hold different outcomes. And we know that and have confidence in that, even though we still may be experiencing some limitation. And we have the power to choose to bring that presence to that situation and allow that light of our eternal nature to take care of it and inform us if there's anything we're meant to know. Just like what happened with Katie and I yesterday. There was just something bigger going on that got activated. And allow that presence, that light, that peace, that love, those qualities of our true essence to flow through us and from us. And that one life, that one presence is everywhere. It's awaiting our recognition of it and our acceptance of it. And if there's any resistance to a thought or a belief that says, well, that can't happen, or a doubt, or a sense I've got to prove myself, welcome those and realize those too are limited beliefs that are being welcomed into the greater light. That one life that is pure and infinite, without opposite, is what we are, what everyone is as their essence beyond their conditioning. And what every animal is and the earth is. All creation, everything in its purity is this one infinite light. And I give thanks for its presence, for its activity in the fullness that we all are as the one light. And just as we close, we're asking it if it has anything further it wants to show us or tell us. As we can see it being present in this moment and every moment as a new moment. And we can also ask it to go before us through the rest of the day, through a simple intention. If there are meetings, it can go there before us, opening that space as peace and harmony and openness. And the more we do this, the more it gets to be active through all of creation. It has to come through our consciousness. It has to come through some form. It can be through nature. It is unlimited. And when you feel ready, just open your eyes.
Eileen, that was beautiful. I always learn so much from you. So thank you for that. I love the story of the dog. And when you said the belief in the all goodness became active. I so appreciate that. And I do know that those times when I've been on retreats or that kind of thing, and it just feels like everything's a miracle. Like everything is in sync and there's so many different energies coming through and then realizing that can always be there.
Yes.
But when we get into our day and we get, back into our home or whatever, and we put those little blinders on, then we're not open to the goodness and the miracles.
Yeah. And thank you, Ruth, for sharing that, because the more I go on, the more I see all that matters is we can set our intention for the day that's active. And it'll be active in ways that we don't even know and aren't even thinking about. But it's our intention that it is active. And that's a greater desire of the fabric of who we are, that gets expressed. That's the greater mind that knows, because yesterday we were both in shock, like with that happening. It happened so fast. And I didn't even fully realize it until, it was revealed to me of what more of the bigger picture. So we don't have to beat ourselves up. All we have to do is just say, okay, and it's a desire to be walking really, if you look at religious terms, heaven here. Like that all goodness is what that is. It's the all goodness that lives within everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It's almost like time stood still.
Yeah.
Almost like if you were in a movie, there was that freeze frame where time just stood still and the dog just kept coming.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it was a miracle. I'm glad it had a happy ending.
Yeah, me too. And what I'm learning is to expect the goodness to be happening in ways that we don't know. And if something else happens, then there's a reason for that too. But expect the good.
Yeah.
without knowing what the outcome is. That's not my mind's business. That's in the bigger picture that takes care of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Eileen. This was beautiful today. Eileen, if people want to work with you one-on-one or take a class with you, how do they find you?
My email is murray50@gmail.com. And my website is eileenmurray1.wixsite.com/the new creation.
Okay. Thank you. And friends, if you want to see more of Eileen Murray, just go to YouTube, go to Enlightened World Network, and in the search, type in Eileen Murray. She's amazing. And talk about Windows 7. She's on Windows 20, and the rest of us are kind of scampering behind her trying to catch up. So thank you so much for being here. Take good care, friends. God bless. We'll see you soon.